Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Colleen at MikeColleen.com. Alright, so what I'm going to do with this video is a video that was part of the last video. This is the second half. I know a lot of people only get to about halfway or a little bit over, but the second half is so important that I really think you need to listen to, because here's the deal. A lot of you are suffering. You're in what they call, in the darkness, or what do they call the tower, having a tower moment with towers collapsing, whatever you want to call it. But you really, really, really are healing. You really are. I know when you're there, like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. Because when I was there, I was like, fuck this. I hated it. It was just horrible. What I want to let you know is you are strengthening up. You're becoming wiser. Your brain is developing a skill set on how to read people better, how to pick up on cues, absorbing information, putting the pieces together. So I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm going to get right into the video. We're going to cut right off to the part where I want you guys to start listening. Alright, so what they said was, her name's Corinne, and she said, just now realizing my sister is a narcissist. So what ends up happening is your brain starts putting the pieces together, and you look back and you're like, oh, so I wasn't a bad person. My family was lying to me, or my sister was making me out to be the bad person because they were the bad person and they didn't want anyone to see it, especially me. So they twisted things around. So here's the point. You start to begin to heal these childhood wounds by understanding and learning and going, oh, that's what oh, they were narcissists. Oh, it wasn't me. So a lot of these emotions and pain just goes away over a period of time. It may not be in one learning, but you gather all this information and you start to realize what was really going on. And this is the healing process. Here's the deal, guys. You have got to understand something. You are at a higher level than the average person. You are at a much higher level than narcissists, okay? You are on a level, God, how do I say this? Yeah, you are leveling up, but that's not really even, that doesn't really state what's really going on. You're not leveling up like the average person. You are leveling up almost like an angel. In fact, I want to say you're pretty much probably an earth angel. You're leveling up on massive levels. You're going to such a level that I'm going to say this. The average person couldn't even relate to what you're saying. I was talking to a guy today at Verizon, a cell phone company, and I kind of was beating around the bush saying, oh, well, and he asked me, well, why are you asking these questions? And I didn't use the word narcissist, but eventually he goes, oh, yeah, well, and he was letting me know, like, I know what you're talking about. And so I looked at him and go, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He goes, yeah. I go, so you know what narcissists? He goes, oh, yeah, they're sociopaths or this, that. And so one of the realizations I had, and I think I even said it to him, I go, if you were to say this stuff, like I was talking about how they stalk you, how they'll get other people to stalk you, they may even pay people to come after you or to date you and do all this crazy shit. If you were to say this to the average person, they would think, dude, I think you're just paranoid, man. Because, now here's the weird part, because you used to be this way too. You were like, why would someone do that? That just sounds nuts. Until it happens to you. Now here's the realization I've had over the last year, maybe 2 years. The majority of people go through life and they don't want to see the truth of reality. That's why people are asleep. They're terrified of reality. So they're just like, yeah, I don't believe that. Yep, no, people, like, dude. And yet you've got movies, you've got TV shows, you've got the nightly news every night talking about stalkers, talking about rapists and murderers, and on and on. And yet, why would someone do that? It just sounds nuts. Because there's a lot of nutty people out there. So what you have done, whether you realize it or not, you decided to take a look at reality. You stopped looking the other way because you realized looking the other way doesn't make it go away. It just makes it happen more and more often. And you get hurt more and more, worse and worse. And one time it scared you or hurt you so bad, you took a look because you got hurt really bad. You are the brave ones. Those other people that live in denial, they're not brave. They're terrified of reality. Here's the good news about taking a look at reality. Now you can navigate around the obstacles of life, the bad people, the narcissists, the sociopaths, the psychopaths. Now you get to go, oh, I recognize this. Yep, I'm out of here. Peace out. And your life becomes better and it becomes funner. What you may not have recognized yet is what you're doing is called alchemy. Look at the picture. That's why I picked that picture, because the guy in the background is doing alchemy. She's dreaming, the alchemist is on the top, and all this energy on the right side is going on. You are an alchemist and you didn't even realize it. You turned all of this around into bettering yourself, into learning, into taking it to the next level. In other words, an alchemist will take something that is mundane, something that's shit, something that's painful, something that's horrifying, something that's horrible, and they take this and they alchemize it into something beautiful, something powerful, something wealthy. In the old days in the Middle East, an alchemist was someone that could take, I forget what kind of material it was, and they could turn it into gold. Okay, so they would that was like that's like the original old way of explaining. Well, what is alchemy? Well, it's turning one element into a better element. You were going through life with your eyes closed, your ears closed, your brain half turned off, and now you took this pain and you turned everything around. You turned everything on. Life becomes more meaningful because you tuned into the right brain, which is all about the five senses: see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. It's about the richness of life. It's not eating bland food. It's adding sugar, adding cinnamon, adding spice, adding salt, pepper, and all the other flavors of the world, and all the smells and the scents. Life becomes a much more flavorful and interesting experience once you come out of this tunnel. The most important thing is you begin to experience love on a much, much deeper level, because you begin to value yourself. You begin to defend yourself. What does it mean to love yourself? It means to be like, oh, I'm not going to let people treat me this way. I'm walking away. See, when you don't have love for yourself, you allow other people to abuse you. And a lot of you, that's why you're on this channel, because that's what got you here. So you spent a lot of time alone. Well, it might have been out of fear, but you start to learn to live alone so you don't rely on people. Now you're independent. You don't need someone. So the next relationship isn't based on I'm alone and I'm empty and I need someone to fill me up emotionally. Oh God. No, you learned how to do that. You learned how to start a craft. So you started reading books again. You started a hobby. You started, doing whatever. Maybe you started an online business. You just started developing different patterns, going for walks at night or in the morning, and started filling your own life with all these different things that you always could have done, but you relied on other people to fulfill those spaces, which thus gave them power over you. So now you don't need other people. Number two, you also begin to love yourself. You begin to be kind to yourself. You begin to actually curl up in a ball when you're sad, and you begin to hold those parts of you and you cry with them. You nurture yourself. You become big. It's like everyone is like a big ball of energy. Your energy becomes to be more loving, more kind, more self-compassionate, more self-loving. And guess what? People want to be around that. People that are negative to themselves, oh, I could never do that. Oh, I'm a loser. Oh, no one likes me. All this negative stuff. Nobody wants to be around that. Nobody. So now that you start taking care of yourself by blocking the narcissist and doing all these other things you develop over the next year, 2, 3 years, all of a sudden you've kind of developed this way of living where I don't need anyone. So people come into your life not because you need them, but because you like them and because they like who you are, because they want to be with you, not because they need you, not because you need them. Now, this is what's called interdependence. When you're born dependent. You need your mother and your father to feed you and protect and provide, otherwise you'll die. But then eventually you're supposed to get to a stage of what's called independence. And a lot of people don't get there till they're 30, 40, even 50 years old. Some people do it a little bit younger. So you become independent. Well, now a lot of people, oh, I'm independent. I don't need a man. I don't need this. I don't need that. Well, that's actually a dependent person fighting for the independence, but they don't know how to get it. Just by saying you're independent and I don't need someone else, that does not mean you're independent. So essentially, in psychology, you learn about something called Maslow's hierarchy of ideas, or hierarchy of needs. Dependence, independence, and then introdependence with other people. So now you are at a higher level where you come together and you begin to be with people, not because you need them, but because you guys can help each other get more out of life. The book by Stephen R. Covey back in I think it was the 90s, the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, it goes over this exact same thing where it's like you go from independent or dependent, independent, and then interdependent, where now you're working together and now your life really begins to expand because you're not like in, what's the word? You're not in bondage with these people. You are free to be with them and they're free to be with you because you're helping each other out. Again, let me emphasize, not because you have to do it, not because they're dependent or because you're dependent, but because you're both independent beings who are now rising to the next level of choosing to work with other people, whether it's a love relationship, a marriage, 2 businesses, 2 people starting a business, working together, etc. Now here's the deal. A narcissist is not at that level. A narcissist is at the absolute bottom of dependency. Now you have to understand, within each level there are levels. Narcissists are at the survival level, which is the very bottom level. And what they tried to do was hold you back to use you to get what they wanted, but it didn't work for them. And the reason why you finally snapped out of it is because you were already going through this independent stage and you're looking at them like, what the hell? So you finally, it's like you made this decision, you finally broke off from depending on anyone no matter what. And you were basically declaring, I'm not going to put up with this bullshit, I'm going to do it on my own, and thus you entered the independent stage. You even avoided people who wanted to be friends, who wanted to support you, who wanted to go to the movies. You're like, no. Because you were spending time alone. That's why you go through what you think is a dark phase of being alone for 2 or 3 years. No. Number 1, you're healing. Number 2, you're learning. Number 3, you have been spending time meditating, deep breathing, exercising, maybe learning how to eat better, or maybe not even eating better, but actually allowing yourself to have some popcorn and cookies once in a while and some chocolate milk or hot chocolate, because you're trying to make your life more enjoyable. And that's the key to independence, is you don't need another person to make you happy anymore because you know how to do it all by yourself. You begin to enjoy time alone. And you come to a point where you're like, man, a lot of you have said this to me, either on the phone, emails, or even in the edit box in the YouTube videos, like, yeah, I'm never going to get to a relationship again. I finally found my peace, and I'm not going to give that up to no one. No way. And that is a form of absolute independence. You're like, nope, this is non-negotiable. You coming into my life, bringing chaos and hell and violence and yelling and screaming and argument. Nope, done with that. I found my peace. I like to be alone. Which is just the absolute solidity of finally going to the highest level of the independent stage. Well, now it's like, yep, you don't need anyone for love. You don't need anyone for creativity, for happiness, for fun. You have finally found and developed your independence. You've also developed your cutoff game, where the minute someone starts being negative, cutting you down, gaslighting you, lying, bullshitting, belittling you, shaming you, you're like, nope, done with this, peace out, see ya, hasta pasta, because you realize like they're not going to change and it's not my job to change them. I'm moving on with my life because I want to be happy. And then you realize over living that way for a few more months, like, wait a minute, I can actually involve other people in my life. I can start businesses, go to movies, build friendships. Because you realize that this person starts to be a gaslighter, a liar, a manipulator, starts doing negative stuff. You're like, man, I have no problem walking away from someone who's being negative because I'm not going to that level anymore. And now you're on this stage of interdependence where you can begin to develop your creativity working with people. Now, it doesn't have to work out. It's like, okay, well, this isn't working out. And they may not even be a negative person, but you might realize like you have different values or beliefs or something's not clicking. So you're like, hey, man, nice to meet you. I wish you the best on your journeys and good luck. And you move on until you meet people that you can work better, more fluidly with, where people are happier. And the process becomes this enjoyable, creative process, whether you're making money or doing whatever it is you're doing. And unlike the narcissist, you wish them well. You're not attacked. You're not going, I got to get revenge because they walked away from me. Rawr. No, you're on a higher, healthier level. God bless you guys. Remember, click subscribe, click like, make a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, you are awesome.